Hi, I'm Neil Beck. I was a doctor in Perth, Western Australia for 53 years and I did live streaming 4 days a week, but recently spent a week in hospital because my coronary arteries had got blocked and I had to have stents done. So I've missed the last 5 sessions, but I'm back again now. Wednesday, Friday and Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. Perth time and 9 a.m. on Sunday morning Perth time. As a doctor for 53 years in Perth, every day during 500,000 consultations, home and hospital visits, I saw people suffering with mental distress and mental needs. I treated 8,000 addicts, 95% of whom had become addicts because they had mental distress for which they couldn't get proper help, and they, in a crisis, got help on the streets, and help on the streets was always addictive. The problem was waiting lists. There just was never going to be enough mental health care for all the people who needed mental health care, and so people had to wait, and when they were waiting for help they got worse. The best time to deal with a mental health problem is when it first starts. When it first starts, it's usually fairly simple and straightforward. The causes are reasonably obvious and the treatment is not that difficult. But what happens when people wait because there are waiting lists or because there's stigma associated with mental health problems, so that people don't want to admit they've got mental health problems until they have to. So when the treatment is late, when people have crashed, it's very complicated. They require a lot of work, and that makes the waiting lists even longer. The waiting lists were due to the fact that the tools used by mental health and addiction workers were too few and they had great weaknesses. One tool was medicines, and the problem with medicines was, first of all, that many of them were addictive. The people who take medicines want to take the medicines and get better quickly and be able to stop the medicine, but the people who make medicine want them to take as much medicine as possible for as long as possible, and they do that in two ways. One, they make many medicines addictive, so that when you've taken them for a while you have great difficulty stopping them. And secondly, they made the medicines work too slowly. The mental health medicines were all basically tablets and capsules. And tablets and capsules you swallow, you need a drink to wash them down. They take half an hour to an hour to go right down your gut and start to be absorbed into the bloodstream and get to the brain and other parts of the body where they are needed. And half an hour to an hour is too long before you start to get help, and the help is not strong until 1 or 2 hours after you take the medicines. So medicines, many of them were addictive and they work too slowly. When you are trying to avoid social anxiety or panic attacks or an obsessive compulsive problem, you don't want to have to wait for half an hour to an hour for the medicines to start to work. You want it to work as quickly as possible. And you don't want the medicine to be addictive. So that was one of the two main tools, medicines, two big problems. The other main tool was talk therapy, counseling, psychotherapy, CBT, call it what you like, but basically talking, a consultation between someone with a mental health problem and a mental health care professional. And that had two big weaknesses also. The first is that talk therapy is very slow. It would take an hour with a new patient to go through all their problems, to work out what caused their problems and what was likely to help their problems, and to discuss those problems. So that's just too slow. We just didn't have an hour to spend with every new patient. And secondly, talk therapy was too expensive, because to be a therapist, to be a mental health care professional, you needed at least a 4-year university degree in psychology, or maybe a 5-year master's degree in psychology, or a 6 or 7-year PhD. And to become a psychiatrist takes 10 or 12 years. You need a basic 6-year medical degree, then a couple of years general medical practice, and then 3, 4 or 5 years of postgraduate psychiatric training. So 10 or 12 years. And people who are intelligent enough to do that training and who do that amount of training need to be paid well. So talk therapy was slow and was expensive. So I came to the conclusion that the greatest problem facing humans was mental health illnesses. And the general idea was that just a few people had these problems. But what I saw was that nearly everyone had these problems. There are no perfect mothers, no perfect fathers, no perfect families, no perfect homes, no perfect schools. So most children started with some sort of problems, with anxiety or attention difficulties, or depression, or some sort of mental health problems. And adults nearly all had problems. There were no perfect countries, no perfect communities, no perfect jobs, no perfect marriages. So most adults had problems as well. And what I decided was necessary was we needed a complete range of tools to deal with mental health and addiction problems. Today, everything we do with very good tools. A long time ago, when I was young, we had a hammer and a chisel and a saw, and a spade and a rake and a wheelbarrow and tools like that. But now we have sophisticated tools. In the kitchen, there just used to be a big dish to wash your dishes, and a big tin dish to wash your dishes and cups and saucers in, and a wood stove to light every morning that you put wood on to boil the billy, boil the kettle and cook the food. But now we have many tools. We have gas, electricity, refrigerators, dishwashers, all sorts of tools. And everywhere we have good tools, but in mental health and addiction, the two tools, medicines and talk therapy, were both weak and had serious problems. So starting 22 years ago, I started to develop a whole pack of 10 tools to help with mental health and addiction. The tools were videos. There's no faster, better, lower cost way to learn about a mental health problem than to watch a 1-minute video on it. So videos were much faster, much better ways to explain things to people than having a healthcare professional to explain them. Because if people needed to watch the video 3 times, they could watch the video 3 times. They didn't have to wait until their next appointment in a week or a fortnight or a month before they could talk about it again. and books were too big. Most medical books had 1,000 pages or 1,200 pages, and they had so much detail in that it was difficult for people to find the detail that they needed. But videos were very helpful. My first video about 15 years ago was about 10 minutes, and it got 10,000 viewings in 9 months, and that was very good. So I made another 8 videos, and then they were all 8, 10 or 12 minutes and covered all aspects of mental health. But then people stopped watching them, and I found that I thought, well, I've got to do them again and make them better. So I made 31 better longer 8, 10 or 12 minute videos, but they didn't watch them either. And then I discovered that people were watching TikTok videos. In 2016, TikTok started, and it made under a minute videos on everything, and that's what people wanted. So now I've got 83 under a minute videos. The second thing was websites, and my website was mentalhealthvideos.com, but it was about 14 pages and fairly long, and people wanted something shorter. So now I still got that website, but another website called smilefixit.com, which in 2 pages covers everything, and you can just tap links to whatever is important to you to get more detail. And the third thing was an app. I saved time dealing with new patients by developing a 20-question checklist, which one of my assistants would ask the questions of new patients, and then in 10 minutes I could assess them, as well as it took me half or 3/4 of an hour to assess without the checklist. But checklists are slow, and people have to come to the clinic, and I have to have an assistant to do it. So we realized that what we needed was an app, and so we made the Mental Fix-It app. And the Mental Fix-It app is free. You can go to your phone and just tap the App Store or Google Play icon and download the Mental Fix-It app. But it was 10 minutes, and that was too long. People wanted a shorter one. So then we reduced the number of questions from 38, which you could tap your choice of answers in about 10 minutes, to 19 questions that you could tap your choice of answers in about 4 or 5 minutes. And now on Android we've reduced it to 2 minutes, and soon we'll reduce it to 2 minutes on iPhones as well. So people will be able to whiz out their phone, in a few seconds download the Mental Fix-It app, and in 2 minutes tap their score for each question and get an instant report, and the instant report will tell them which 6 of our 83 under a minute videos will help them most, and they can watch those 6 videos in 6 minutes. So in 10 minutes download the app, in 2 minutes do the questions, in 6 minutes watch the videos, in 10 minutes you get an instant report that tells you which videos to watch, that tells you which medicines are most likely to help you most, which give you a list of all the things that you've tapped as a problem with a score in descending order of importance, and also a total score graph. Because every time you do the app, which we recommend you do very often, it adds up the scores for everything that you tap has got a problem. Some problems are very important, some are moderately important, some are only mildly important. Some you've got a severe degree of them, some moderate, some only mild degree. So for each item that you tap as a problem, it's got a score, and the app adds all those scores together to give you a total score, and puts that total score in a total score graph, So you can see immediately, as soon as you see your instant report, you can see that graph, and you can tell from that graph whether your treatment is working. If you're on the right treatment and the treatment is working, your score is getting better and better. If your score is not getting better, then you're not on the right treatment, or you're not on enough treatment, and you need to review the treatment with the app and the videos, and with your doctor or psychologist. The next item was live streaming. The next tool was live streaming, because I discovered that people love to watch live streaming. TikTok only started 9 years ago, and now more than 1 billion viewers visit TikTok every month. More than 1 billion every month. And a lot of them just love scrolling through the live streaming. So I now do the live streaming, as mentioned, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at 7 p.m. Perth time, and 9 a.m. Sunday morning, because we now get a lot of viewers in the Northern Hemisphere, and 7 p.m. Perth time is not a good time in the Northern Hemisphere. Then the next tool was powder medicines. Why powder medicines? Powder medicines because if you drop powder medicine on your tongue and suck it, don't swallow it, it starts to work in 5 minutes. Your tongue is pink or red because the blood vessels are so close to the surface, and if you drop thousands of tiny grains of powder medicine on your tongue and suck it, it gets into the blood vessels and starts to help you in 5 minutes instead of the 30 to 60 minutes that swallowed tablets take. And also you soon develop what's called taste conditioning. That means that as soon as you taste the medicine, as soon as you drop it on your tongue and it reaches the taste buds at the back of your tongue and you taste it, the medicine starts to work. So the medicine, if you're trying to ward off anxiety or depression or whatever, you can start to get help from your medicine in seconds, and the help is strong in 5 to 10 minutes. The next tool, the sixth tool, was powder dispensers, because we put the powder medicine in a pocket dispenser which you carry, and wherever you go you've got your powder medicine in your pocket, and if you start to crave a drug, an addiction craving starts, or a mental health suffering starts, you just whiz it out and drop the powder on your tongue and start to get benefits at first in 5 minutes and then in seconds. The seventh tool is a heartbeat meditation aid. Heartbeat meditation aid is a shortened stethoscope. Meditation is so valuable in helping people to calm and relax and have a rest from all their worries and stresses. And you do that by focusing on your breathing or a word. And while you're focusing on the breathing or a word, you stop thinking about your problems, or at least that's what you're meant to do. And you develop it into a habit. And people who succeed developing very strong habit, and their meditation is very effective, and that gives them a complete rest from their problems and makes them much calmer, more relaxed, and changes the epigenetics of the way your brain works, which is very beneficial. But people who are very distressed, the people who most need the benefits of meditation, often can't develop the habit because they try to focus on their breathing, but they keep on going back to their worries, because breathing or a word, not very attention grabbing, but listening to your heart is very attention grabbing. If you have a shortened stethoscope, which is what a heartbeat meditation is, that's the listening part. You listen to your heartbeat is loud, strong, very interesting, and it's much better way to stop thinking about your troubles. And if you do that for a month or two, for 10 or 20 minutes at a time, you'll then be able to focus on your breathing and meditate anywhere by just focusing on your breathing, which is the best way to go, because your breathing is very connected to your emotional state. In fact, I now do what I call micro meditation, because your breathing is very connected to your emotional state. You can breathe steadily, and that calms you down. So if you have a sudden cause of anxiety or tension, just breathe steadily for a few minutes in a micro meditation and you'll calm down. The eighth tool was fruit powder in a pocket dispenser, because a very important aspect of our mental functioning is that 60 to 65% of it is habits. Our brain has got so much to do, is so busy that it can't consciously manage and do everything. And what it does is it turns anything that we do over and over and over again into a habit which is automatic and unconscious and just happens and is hard to stop. And 60 to 65% of our life is habits. A third of it is sleep. Sleep is a habit. But so many other things that we do, like breathing and moving our arms and legs and head and eyes, it's all automatic and subconscious, and it's a habit. And what happens is that as you do everything that happens in us and everything we do is the result of triggers and electrical messages that run from our brain along our nerves to our muscles or wherever, and chemical messages that run in the tissues from our glands or our brain and in our blood to every part of our body. And those chemical and electrical messages and the triggers are what manage everything. And because our life changes and our world changes, our habits need to change. So it's very important to be able to make new habits, and it's very important to be able to stop habits that have become counterproductive. Some things we used to do as children we want to stop doing. Some things we didn't do as children we now need to do as we become teenagers and then adults. So making and breaking habits is a very important part of life. And what I found is that you can aid that with a very nice tasting fruit powder. Fruit powders are becoming very popular worldwide, and you can go online and buy them or buy them in your supermarkets, and they're popular. They're popular for making thick shakes and drinks, and popular for making sweets. And what you do is, if you want to make a habit, if you want to make the habit of, say, exercising or of studying or of whatever you want to make the habit, if every time you do it you whiz the fruit powder dispenser out of your pocket and drop a lovely taste on your tongue, and you enjoy that taste, that will make it much easier for you to keep repeating the habit and over and over and over again until it becomes automatic and unconscious and a habit. And how do you break habits? With breaking habits, you do the opposite. What you do if you want to break a habit is that you have to break those electrical and chemical flows that have become strong and automatic. And what you do is you delay them and you do less of them. And when you delay them and you do less of them, they get weaker until eventually you can stop them. Now, a lot of people will tell you, you just got to go cold turkey. I think it was President Reagan's wife who said, just say no, just say no. But going cold turkey is very difficult with a lot of things, and it often doesn't work. But if you have got in your pocket lovely tasting fruit powder and you think of having a cigarette, and so you whiz it out and drop some lovely powder in your tongue and you focus on that lovely taste, and when it starts to fade you have another taste, and then you have another taste, and you delay having a cigarette for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and you only smoke 2/3 or 3/4 of the cigarette, and then you throw it away. Then by delaying and reducing the habit, you weaken it. And when it's weaker, then you can delay it longer and reduce it further. So that, for instance, with smoking, using the powder habit, you can usually reduce the smoking reasonably comfortably by about 25% every 1 to 3 weeks, which means that you can give up smoking in somewhere between 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks. And you carry the powder dispenser in your pocket to prevent relapses, because so often when you do manage to break a habit, you have a relapse. So many people who've stopped smoking or stopped eating too much or stopped drinking or stopped whatever it was, some crisis happens or something happens, or a friend says, here, have a cigarette, and you think, oh, I'll just have one, and they have one and they're gone. The habit comes back so quickly. But if you've got the powder in your pocket, you just say, oh no, I'll have some powder instead, and you have a lovely taste. So that is the 8th tool. The 9th tool I call phone treasure. Now, I haven't made this tool yet, because the 10th tool got so interesting that I delayed working on the phone treasure. But phone treasure is basically that almost everyone now has a phone in their pocket, a smartphone, and on that phone you have words and images and music or sounds that you love, and whenever you need a little lift, you just whiz it out and just look at the images, your grandchildren or your cat or your dog or beautiful flowers or your girlfriend or whatever, or you listen to some music. I love the Voice Kids music, or you read something. You have some good sayings on there, like Rome wasn't built in a day, you reap what you sow, honesty is the best policy, so on. So that's phone treasure. But the 10th tool, which I want to tell you about now, which we're very close to completing, I call Mental Scroll Fix Plus. Scroll Fix Plus. Because what I realised, I'm a bit slow because I'm old, what I realised was that people want everything to be fast and they love scrolling. So no point in making long things. Well, no, that's not quite right. 10% of people like watching long things. My daughter likes watching 1 and 2 hour podcasts, but most people want to scroll. So what I did is I made Scroll Plus. So there are just over 90 mental health items and solutions, and they're all in Scroll Plus, and you can race through them very quickly just seeing them. And every time you see one that's interesting, it's important to you, you can then click on a very short video. So out of the 92, you might have 5 or 6 or 8 or 10, and you just scroll through and find them. And each time you find one that's interesting, you tap on its video. Let me tell you a few. There are 9 groups. The first group is bad feelings are usually what trouble us most. The first mental health problems, bad feelings are usually what trouble us most. And the heading is, our brain, glands and gut produce 25 feel-good, happy, healthy chemicals to help us through life, but sometimes don't produce enough. And if that applies to you, then you just tap the very short video. In the very short video, I tell you to avoid bad feelings, keep your feel-good chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, noradrenaline, and over 20 endorphin chemicals well boosted with a healthy, natural lifestyle and plenty of smiling and laughing. The second item under bad feelings is boost your feel-good chemicals production with smiling, laughing, healthy foods and drinks, physical activity, sunlight, fresh air, nature, flowers, pets, music, beauty, good sleep, good relationships, hugging, kissing, and good sex. And if that's important to you, then you just tap on the very fast video. Often check that list of feel-good boosters and repeat them often enough for them to become permanent habits that help you to stay healthy and happy. The third item under feelings is our feel-good chemicals also boost our immune system, which fights infections, allergies, inflammation, autoimmune diseases and cancer. So if you've got a problem with infections, allergies, inflammation, then you just tap on the very short video, and the very short video says our immune system is cells, antibodies and chemicals in every part of us that fight diseases. They stop us getting sick, which makes us feel better, so keep them strong by boosting your endorphins. The fourth item under feelings is we also have 4 normal but unpleasant warning feelings: loneliness, sadness, anger and anxious carefulness. They're not nice, but they keep us safer and happier. And if you've got one of those feelings, loneliness, sadness, anger, then you just tap on the video and the video says, without warning feelings, we wouldn't know when we need more friends, wouldn't grieve when we need to grieve, might not realize something is bad and should be stopped, and might not be careful when care is needed. So always respond to warning feelings. So there are 17 items under feelings. The second group of items is the surest way to be happy and healthy is to grow your mental health. The first item there is what usually most helps us to be happy and healthy and to have a good life is growing our mental health. And if that's important to you, then you just tap on the instant video, very short video. In developed countries there's plenty of most things, and if we're mentally healthy we usually get whatever we need, but if we're mentally unhealthy we sometimes get very troubled and needy. The second item is mental health is good feelings, good thinking, good habits and normal warming feelings, with not many bad feelings, thoughts or habits, and no ignored warning feelings. And the very short video is being mentally healthy is far better and safer, so do Scroll Plus often to quickly find and fix any mental health problems. So the next group is down on mental health disorders. That's depression, ADD, low self-esteem, and so on. And the fourth group is upper mental health disorders, which is insomnia, inability to sleep. It's being anxious and worried. It's being irritable and angry. The next group is good relationships are almost as important as mental health and depend on mental health. The first item there is good relationships greatly increase health and happiness, and bad relationships often cause great unhappiness and costs. And if you've got that sort of a problem, then you just tap on the video, and the video, very short video, tells you the more mentally healthy you are, the better relationships will be, and the better your relationships are, the more mentally healthy you'll be. For all of human history, humans adapted to living close to others, and loneliness is bad for humans, as damaging as 15 cigarettes a day. The second item under relationships is to have good relationships, become a good quality person who learns to recognize good quality people and who recognizes who you are and aren't compatible with. And if that applies to you, if that's of interest to you, then a very short video is, for a good life, become a fair, honest, good-natured, cooperative, kind person who recognizes other people like that and recognizes who you are and aren't compatible with, and have some comfortable, compatible relationships. We all need some comfortable, compatible relationships, and to have that we need to be good quality people, and we need to know who's a good quality person. The next group is families. A good marriage, your parents' marriage or your marriage, can be one of the greatest places on earth, but bad marriages can be hell and ruin your life and health. The next group is habits. The first item under habits is the more or less principle is the more we repeat something, the easier it gets to do it, and the harder it gets to stop doing it. And the less we do something, the easier it gets to stop doing it. And if that's of interest to you, you just tap the short video, and the short video tells you everything we do is a result of triggers and electrical messages in our brain and nerves and chemical messages in our brain tissues and blood, which get stronger the more often we do things, and the weaker the less often we do them. The eighth group is powder medicines in pocket dispensers. So there's quite a few of them. There's Calm Fast. Is a non-addictive, very fast-acting powder combination of 3 medicines. Low Night Fix powder is calming mirtazapine antidepressant combined with low-dose naltrexone. And Low Morning Fix powder is stimulating fluoxetine antidepressant combined with fast-acting moderate stimulant modafinil. So why have powder combination antidepressants? It's because antidepressants usually take 1 to 3 weeks to start to work. 1 to 3 weeks to start to work. And in that time, someone who's very depressed may drink far too much alcohol or may start to take street drugs. But by combining something fast with the slow-acting antidepressant, you get a result straight away. So the morning stimulant fluoxetine antidepressant with some modafinil in it gives you a lift, more in energy than mood, but nevertheless it starts to make you feel better within an hour. You don't have to wait 1, 2 or 3 weeks to get a result. And the low night fix mirtazapine antidepressant takes 1 to 3 weeks to start to lift your depression, but because it's combined with some low dose naltrexone, which boosts your endorphins within a few hours, you get a result the first night. So where are we up to with this? We're up to that I've finished the script, the 92 mental health problems and solutions. Today I uploaded it to ebooks on Amazon. It takes a few days before it becomes functional, but you'll be able to download the ebook and read that. And we're also my tech help over the next few weeks is going to turn that Scroll Plus into a website that you can scroll, and so you can scroll through the 92 items very quickly, find the items that are important, and the ones that are important to you, you tap on and you watch the short videos, which give you immediate information, because the problem with scrolling is it's very fast because there's no detail, but you don't want 1,000 pages of detail with only 50 pages in it of interest to you. But by scrolling, finding which points are interest, seeing instant short videos, then whenever you feel you've answered enough questions, you want to stop, then you just press enough, you tap enough, and the enough button shows you the 6 or 8 or 4 or 10 short videos you've just watched, and each short video is linked to a 1-minute video. So you get enough information with a very short video to give you some idea, and then you tap its link to the 1-minute video. And if the 1-minute video is helpful for you, then what you can do is you can then tap the link to the Mental Fix-It app, and the Mental Fix-It app will tell you which 6 1-minute videos are going to help you most. So that's our tool number 10, and I hope that within the next few weeks you'll be able to go to that either as an ebook or do a Scroll Plus online, and that will be a great help to you. So just to reiterate, I developed angina, that's pain due to your heart, due to the coronary blood vessels being narrowed. I had to spend a week in hospital and have stents put in. I'm now almost as good as new and back on deck again, and I apologize for missing 5 sessions of live streaming, and the future ones will be a bit shorter. I used to do an hour and a quarter, but I think I better not do them that long. They'll be half an hour or 3/4 of an hour. I'm very keen to hear what you've got to say. I can't talk to everyone. We have 5,500 followers now and over 30,000 likes, and people want to talk, but I can't talk to everyone. This live streaming is on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook and Instagram, and you can send me your comments and questions and criticisms through the platform you watch it on, or you can email me, and I always respond to emails. The email for this is spelt as it sounds, healthestuff@gmail.com, healthestuff@gmail.com. And if you can't remember that, then just go to the short website, which is smilefixit.com, smilefixit.com. At smilefixit.com you'll find that email address, and you can email me and I'll email back a response to you. So thank you for watching, and be back again Friday 7 p.m. Perth time.